What's up, dudes? It's your boy Inglewood, and I'm here representing Killin' Esports. We're on Cloud Kingdom tonight with a PvZ, something we don't cast a lot of. Our Zerg, starting out in the northeast position, is the yellow royal dude here. And he's facing off against the fan favorite light blue Protoss Slasher in the southwest, whose mama ship's so fat she cloaks her main and her natural. Both Masters players here. We know FSlasher quite well. He usually fucks around and does weird builds. And I do not know anything about Royal. I've never seen him play. Are you toss MMR? I'm not sure if that's a real sentence. Toss MMR. I guess. Masters? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck these guys are talking about. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to have a sniffly, congested voice, and I'm going to drink scotch, and we're going to watch this game and see what happens. So far, standard looking shit. Forge coming down from Slasher. And he's doing it behind his mineral line, so he's not going to wall off his natural expand with it and try and close this off for a quick second. So I'm not sure what he's got up his sleeve, but this is definitely atypical, so we'll see where this goes. Pool first out of Royal. And he's going to build up his money, and we'll probably take a second real quick here. Yeah, this drone's going to get to work down there on a second hatchery. So Forge first. I'm not really sure what this could be coming out of FSlasher. He did say Mothership Rush. I know he said it jokingly just now in the game, but he also mentioned it to me before this game began. He kind of LOL'd and said early Mothership Rush against a Zerg. So we'll see if that's actually his plan. Nexus number 2 now coming down for FSlasher. And this has probably been scouted? No, I think that Overlord's a little bit too far away to have scouted it. Let's take a look at the vision here for Royal. So yeah, he sees the pylon. He sees the worker out here dropping down cannon. But he hasn't actually poked in to confirm the second expo. So both players doing typical Cloud Kingdom shit here. Gas is now on the way for FSlasher. A couple of lings going to pop out for Royal. 4 lings. So that's more than just map control. He might be looking to do a little bit of a harass here. He's got Queen number 1 now down on the map, and he's actually taking the 3rd base now. So 3 base for Royal versus the 2 base of FSlasher. So that means that he pretty much knows what's going on. He is aware that the Protoss is on 2 base, and he's reacting accordingly. These 4 lings are, where are you guys going to go? Just making sure there's no proxy pylons, no cannon shenanigans going on here at his 3rd, which would be bad for him. So he's being a little proactive, and that's always good. Cybernetics core on the way for the Protoss. He will begin his warp gate research thusly. We see some pretty good Overlord spread here. He's got his eyes on the potential 3rd base of Slasher. He's got his eyes on the natural base of Slasher. So he does see all this going on, and that's very good. These lings dancing around. He's grabbed both towers, and he's going to dance these other 2 lings around just to make sure that he does catch everything that might be catchable. Although he's actually going to miss this probe over here. So they're going to just skirt around the map and see what they can see. Behind all of this, Royal's just droning up. He's got 3 bases that he has to saturate now, so we're going to see nothing but drones out of him until it gets later on in the game, or he gets pressured. So that's all very typical. Come on, guys, make a fun game to watch. 1 gas versus 2 gas, 3 gas, 4 gas. So Slasher taking all the gas that he can get. 2 base Protoss can do a lot with 4 gas, so that pretty much opens up everything. We see a Stargate now popping up for him as well. So this could very well be that mothership. Although in the last game that we watched, if maybe I shouldn't say this could be spoilers. If you haven't watched FSlasher versus, oh man, what was his name? It's completely slipped my mind. There's a PvP I cast right before this, and in it, Slasher actually went like Mass Phoenix in PvP. And that pretty much went exactly how you might think that it would go. Roach Warren on the way down for the Zerg, and he's also getting Zergling speed, so he will be transitioning into roaches. It's good to see. I would like to see some Evo chambers coming out of him here, and another gas. But so far he's just going super mineral heavy. Missing some serious injects here with this queen. So he's like 25 seconds delayed on hitting this inject, so that's horrible. He needs to go ahead and do that and use the rest of that energy up for a creep tumor to connect the main and the natural. Come on, man, I'm fucking silver and I'm telling you how to play the game. So 5 roaches on the way, 6 lings gonna join it, and he's actually taking lair tech. And so we see, what do we got? Roaches and lair tech off of 1 gas. So, oh, 2 gas now. So we'll see what he actually intends to do with all that gas. And an Evo chamber is coming up. But the big story, of course, is back here. And that is the fleet beacon that is just finished up. And we're going to see a mothership start churning out of this nexus at any time now. What? Okay, it's really expensive. So, not any time now. But once he can afford the 400, he'll have a mothership out. And we see him lolling. LOL. And what's he going to be lolling about? I think he fucked up and forgot these gateways. I think he might have wanted those out a little earlier. Oh, he's lolling about supply blocking himself. So how many gates is this going to be? That's a lot of gates. 6 and 8. So we're going to see 8 gate aggression with a mothership behind it, which is going to be some serious damage. He's also going to grab +1 air weapons and +1 ground weapons. Back for the Zerg. He's got a little bit of this army going on. He made all these roaches and lings, but he's not actually pushing out with them. He's grabbing +1 melee upgrades, he's grabbing +1 ground carapace, and he's going to get roach speed. And he's actually going to add on an infestor pit, but he's just using these units to sit at home. So that's a bunch of money and supply that he's invested that is not being used. It's not going anywhere. He does have some static defense up. He does have spore crawlers back in the mineral line, which is smart. That's going to offer him detection and protection against DTs. It's also going to allow him to ward off any void rays or phoenix that might come popping around his worker line. See him on 3 Evo chambers now, so he can actually upgrade everything in the world all at the same time if you... Holy lag. God, it's definitely time for a new computer. I'm lagging like all the time I cast now. And I still apologize for it every time. Not that anyone's watching this, because no one has ever viewed any of our videos, but if someone were to watch this, they would see lag, and that would be really embarrassing for me. So FSlasher gonna poke out with a bunch of stalkers and zealots and 6 sentries, all on like full energy. So he's got all the energy in the world, and it looks like he might actually come over here and discover this 4th base on the way for Royal. It looks like he actually knows it's here, because he's warping in right behind it. So he is going to go in and challenge his 4th base, but Royal is here with his roaches and a few Zerglings. Definitely not enough units here, but he might have bought him some time. But no, he will have to cancel this. Oh, he doesn't even get the cancel, so he loses 300 minerals. That was a mistake for Royal. And Mothership is out and on the field, and in he comes. In comes Slasher with this group. Great force fields down. A little bit of a waste there. Probably could have done that with 3, but good force fields down. Going to keep that Zerg army away. And that one infestor is not going to have a chance to do much. He does throw down some infested Terrans, but they can't do anything against all these cloaked units. Zerglings just getting kind of chewed apart here by a bunch of invisible zealots and stalkers, and more are being warped in all the time here. The mothership does lose its shields, but it's still at 338 HP, and there's a big group of units here to keep that guy alive. So the mama ship not going nowhere no time soon. Base number 4 killed. Base number 3 just about to fall with it. We'll see if he can actually knock down this Momo ship. A bunch of roaches not going to be doing it. And again, good force fields come out to keep the 2 armies separated. And a vortex comes down. So FSlasher is going to soak up his enemy army completely. Take out the spore crawler. And he's going to have like free run here to do what he wants. There is an overseer in the area, but it just got pushed away. So it actually can't do a lot of good back there. Now it's in the neighborhood again. More force fields come down. All those high energy sentries really putting in work, keeping the Protoss and the Zerg separated. We're going to see, what are we seeing? Actually, the Zergs have the number advantage right now. and they're contesting these warp-ins. The mothership does finally get knocked down with queens and infested Terrans, and they are going to manage to push back this Protoss army. So, good group of Stalkers here are going to start kiting what's remaining, but they do get sent home. So, a good victory for Slasher. He knocked out 2 bases, got the Zerg back down to equal bases with the Protoss, which of course is horrible for the Zerg. But that said, he didn't actually get a win out of it. So he's down like 25 supply right now, and having to replenish his mothership. He's putting out all his tech structures now. He's getting a robo facility. He's getting his Twilight Council. So he's actually looking to change directions here. Meanwhile, the Zerg's sitting on like 1,600 minerals and looking really, really nice while he replenishes base 3 and 4. So he'll be back on his feet in no time, and the Protoss is kind of going to have to try again. Let's take a look at the units count. 48 probes to the 50 drones. So economically, they're sitting on about the same. But of course, army count quite a bit bigger for the Zerg. Let's take a look at units lost here. Wow, that's definitely in the advantage of Slasher. He killed a whole lot more units, but he has lost a whole lot more work. No, actually he didn't. He's killed more workers. So on the units killed tab, Slasher's looking really solid. Oh, I'm so congested. 16 more Zerglings coming out, and a third base being added on. Macro Hatch somewhere. Here we go. Macro Hatch in the main. Going to be added on. +2 melee ability coming out for the Zerg, as well as 6 more Lings. And it looks like we're going to see Blink Stalkers and a little bit of ground weapons too being researched by the Protoss. Slasher taking his third base now. So all things looking pretty much even. 2-2 on the way for the Zerg. Protoss now has a mothership with his army, so he's back to where he used to be. He's adding on a robotics support base, so he'll get some Colossi out in the very near future once he's got gas number 5 and 6 up and running. Cannon down here at number 3 just to add a little bit of protection. We see some Zergs moving out. Some Zerglings going to try and do a run by here, and clutch warping by Slasher is going to keep them locked outside and sandwiched between this army. And they are just going to get shredded before they have a chance to do anything. One Ling makes it out, but he doesn't even get a single kill before getting swatted. So those Lings went nowhere. Good little attempt, but didn't actually become fruitful for Royal. And behind that, he's decided to go into Mutalisk. So he's got Infestors down. They've got a bunch of energy, and he's going to get some Mutalisks behind them as well. So that'll be pretty nice for him. I would like to see some more creep. He hasn't connected any of his bases. Even his main and natural aren't connected. So all of these units could be better off if they were standing on creep, of course, and that's just not the case. Looks like the Colossi are going to get their extended thermal lance upgrade coming out for them. Hive Tech now on the way for Royal. Looks like he wants to go 3-3 once 2-2 finishes up here in mere moments. Looks like that's about 1 minute away for Carapace, and Melee will finish up just about now. He's got all these Overseers with him. He knows there's another mothership out. He did scout that, so he's well prepared to see all these hidden units. +3 ground weapons is now on the way for the Toss. And it looks like he's going to go out and maybe look to clear out base number 4. Yep, and he's going to throw that down and be on equal bases with the Zerg once again. So Royal's kind of going to have to make something happen here or take a 5th. And that's going to be on him. Corruptor's coming out to try and contest this mothership. That's going to be really nice for Royal. We have not seen him go towards a Greater Spire. That's because Hive is not quite done yet. Hive is now finished. So this is going to be telling if Royal decides to go for Greater Spire, which he did. So Broodlords is going to be what's coming up for the Zerg. We've got some Burrowed Infestors coming up behind base number 4 for the Protoss. He's going to keep his eye on that, and once it's finished, he'll throw down a bunch of infested Terrans, just so that Slasher doesn't have the ability to cancel. But no, he's actually going to call my bluff and blow all of his energy. So stupid. He just wasted so much money there, or energy, just to get a cancel. So that costs 100 minerals for Slasher to cancel that, and he will lose. I guess maybe it is worth it if he loses these 3 pylons here. And so he could have been supply blocked, but no, he has enough pylons. So he doesn't actually become supply blocked, but he does lose 300 minerals in pylons and 100 minerals in a cancel. Behind this come many, many roaches. Many 2-0 roaches. Totally unupgraded for damage. And all this wall has to do here is hold them back for a quick minute while the army of the Protoss army comes in to sandwich the Zerg army in here. God, I sound stupid today. Colossi on the high ground and the low ground, getting their melt on. And the Zergs get fucked in the ass. They go nowhere. Base number 4 is back on its way for Slasher, and the Zerg is still only on 4 base himself. And Slasher's sitting on quite a bit of money here compared to his opponent, and for the first time actually has the supply lead as well. So Ling's going to stream in here to base number 4, and they're going to get warded out by all these force fields. They can't do a thing to these invisible units until an Overseer shows up here. So nothing really doing here for Royal. He's now down 25 supply and forced to try and make something happen. Slasher might get a little aggressive here now. He's just about maxed out his army, and he does have base number 4 complete. Charges on the way for his Zealots, and he's just going to keep on making Colossi in the meantime. Few Infestors, actually that's a lot of Infestors. 7 Infestors on the high ground up here with basically little else defending them. Here we go, Broodlords and Overseers and a swarm of Corruptors. So we're going to see like some Tier 3 Flyer versus Blink Stalker, Invisible Blink Stalker army going on here. And that should be fun. And it looks like that's about to happen now. 200 supply maxed out Protoss army is now realizing, oh, fuck me, there's Broodlords out here. Retreat, retreat, get back to the mama. Go back to mama's house. The mothership is on full energy, so it will be well prepared to drop down a couple of vortexes, which we can see are 100 energy. So yes, he's got 2 vortexes available, and he's going to throw down one almost immediately, I would think. There it is, sucks down all those Broodlords. Just a couple Infestors behind that, and a second vortex actually goes down strangely enough. And he's going to march right into this 4th base here of Royal while the army is engaged in that vortex. Fungal growth comes down on the mothership, which is going to keep it in place and shred it pretty quickly here with all these Corruptors. And we're going to see our Blink Stalkers and 1 Colossus going to be enough to turn away this great flying army here. How many Broodlords do we have? 8 Broodlords is actually going to easily push away this maxed out Protoss army, and just like that, Slasher is now down to 150 supply to the 188 of the Zerg. So the Zerg loses very little there while doing a whole bunch of damage. Just looking at the units lost tab, things still pretty heavily in Slasher's favor. Let's take a look at units lost resource-wise. Very similar, 15-4 to 14-9. So really a close game despite the big discrepancy here in actual units lost. And that's easily explained, but when you look at Zerglings and Broodlings and things that really aren't very important units, but they still count the same as a Colossus. So the Zerg is going to counterattack now, knowing that he's got the advantage, and he is right to do so. He's going to get a good surround here on this Protoss army, although there are 4 Colossus, 2 of them not rallied properly, and they're actually doing nothing right now. The rest of this Protoss army is going to get just shit upon by all these Infestors on the low ground, good Fungals, and a whole bunch of Broodlords. They blink ahead to try and pick some of these Broodlords out, and the Royal is actually pulling away. I'm so surprised he didn't just use more of this Infestor energy and fungal down those Blink Stalkers to prevent them from doing so, but Slasher actually pushes ahead with those Stalkers and makes something happen. A Ling run-by happening here at Slasher's 3rd base. Gonna get a few worker kills, but mostly they're gonna sacrifice themselves to the cannon overlords. A bunch of gateways here that have not been warped into warp gates for Slasher. Bit of an oversight there, because he could certainly use them. What is actually coming out? Another mothership and 2 Colossus. So same old shit coming out of Slasher, and more Broodlords and 8 Infestors on the way for Royal. So he is just dumping money back into these high tier units. But oh, a bunch of poorly rallied Infestors get just shredded here when they're still at full energy, not realizing what's happening. Royal dropped the ball a little bit here. Some good Corruptors, but once again, more Corruptors. 4 Corruptors here not doing their job in the face of this Colossus attack. So I'm not really sure where Royal is microing right now. He's going to get chased away by all of these Blink Stalkers, who are now on 2-3s, so +3 weapons, +2 armor for the Protoss units. Quite strong indeed versus the 0-1 for the flying units of Royal. So huge upgrade advantage for the Protoss here. And it looks like Slasher's going to take his 4th base here on the west side of the map. And that's going to be just devastating if Royal can't take a few more bases. He's probably getting pretty close to mining out. Yeah, main is totally mined out. The natural is totally mined out. And he has all these drones not actually doing anything. Holy lag. 3rd base is getting a little thin on some of these mineral patches. And so he's really only got this 4th base, which, oh, he actually lost and is now rebuilding. So not really a whole lot of income coming in for the Zerg at all. We see 600 minerals a minute and only 400 gas. Not that the Protoss is looking in real good shape that way either, but he is building 2 bases now. So, supply. 150 army supply, or 150 supply for Slasher. A lot of that is army, as we see a whole bunch of Blink Stalkers and Zealots and Colossi coming out here, still on 2-3. What is going to be waiting for this? Just Broodlords and Infestors. A couple of Corruptors. They're actually going to turn into Broodlords, so it's going to be all Broodlords, which could be pretty strong, but he's not going to have an answer to this mothership. I don't think he actually has Neural Parasite for those. Oh, he does have Neural Parasite. So maybe he plans to just grab the mothership with his Infestors and turn that around on Slasher. So we'll see how good the micro is here. Looks like Royal has actually been distracted the last few engagements, so we'll see if he's actually paying attention right now. Corruptors come in and just sacrifice themselves. These Broodlords fly into certain doom. No Overseers here, so he doesn't have any detection whatsoever, and nothing happens. And yeah, what the fuck indeed. Royal not paying attention, throws away all of his Broodlords, and that's going to be GG.